Here is the candidate for City Council, Eric Peterson.
Let's start off to say thank you, Carol, for coming up and telling us about the wonderful things the Democrats have done to our state. They keep passing all these things and then they make all these rules to delay it. One of the things in that cap and trade bill that they haven't delayed is forcing cities to urbanize, forcing cities into high-density development. And our Beach Specific Plan is based on that, is based on those standards set by the state. And we've had some good developments in it, and we've had some bad developments in it. And currently we have, or it's coming up for review. And I'm very excited that it's coming up for review because I don't think the impacts have been looked at in our city. The traffic impacts, the impacts on our infrastructure. I believe we're building all this, but we're not taking that money that we're supposed to do to maintain and make our infrastructure more robust and actually doing that. We're just connecting to our old stuff. So I want to make sure as we go forward that we are being responsible with our development, that we're not just building for residents, that we're building for our community, that we're building facilities that will attract white-collar jobs, not blue-collar jobs. We have enough. We have a lot of service in Huntington Beach. Like Barbara said, we're a tourist city, so we have a lot of blue-collar, minimum wage jobs around here. We don't need more of those. We need to bring in some higher-paying jobs. And with facility, we need to have facilities to attract those types of businesses. Secondly, there's not one person up here that's going to say they don't want more police, more fire, more safety, more anything. We all want that. Our biggest problem is paying for it. We need to make sure that we're responsible at the negotiating table and we're responsible to the people actually paying the bills, the taxpayers. So right now our employees cost about 71% of the budget, a little more. Okay, and in a well-managed city, it's around 60 to 65%. So how do we fix that? What's the solution? Well, boost our economy, right? Get those jobs coming in, get that tax, the hotels that we were talking about, anything like that. We get more revenue into the system. That's part of the problem. The other part of the solution, the other part, is to work with our public employee unions. We've promised them, certain things, and we don't want them to retire and lose what we've promised them. So in order for us to fulfill those promises, we need to work with them from this time forward so that we are responsible with the new hires, with the new employees coming on. So as a city council candidate, I originally started, with finance board. I was there for a couple years looking at the finances. I was worried about the city finance. Where were my tax dollars going? After that, I got put on the planning commission. So I've looked at it from a financial standpoint of the city, and I've looked at it, and I've sort of seen how the city's looking at development to say, hey, development's going to get us out of that. But development's not going to solve every problem we have. It's one-time money. If we do the development, we need more fire, we need more police. Well, we need to pay for that. We need to fix our infrastructure. We need to pay for that. And all we get is one-time money and then some tax revenue, but we only get about 1% of that property tax. It's a big amount, but not enough to cover our liability. So as a council candidate, I'm going to first and foremost think of this city that I've grown up in, that I've raised my family in, that my wife teaches in the school district here, that my business is in. I'm going to think of this city that I want to retire in, and what do I want it to look like when I'm some of your ages, not going to, got some retirees here. When I'm your age, I want to be here, and I want it to be that Huntington Beach that I grew up in. I don't want it to look like Santa Monica. I don't want the traffic that we do, but I want it to be done responsibly. Thank you. Okay, best way to start that is just go through all our ordinances and find out what we don't need. We'll have a charter review also coming up in the next couple years. That's a good place to go through and make sure that our citizens' rights are protected and their liberties are protected. And I'll fight for that. I mean, our city council, our government needs to be involved in providing for public safety, fixing the infrastructure, and our city services, providing those. Not telling us how to take our bags home, what to do on the 4th of July, what pets we can and can't buy, social ordinances that are unconstitutional. We don't need to be involved in that. We need to be here for what municipal government is for, the basics. Thanks.
Work on that. Do you support anti-fracking policy, regulations, and laws, or are you pro-energy, and why?
Well, I support fracking. I support the oil industry. This is what built, and people who are against the oil industry, they can walk around naked. Because everything we wear, everything we drive, everything we have needs oil. And we have a mass amount of oil in this country, and we're buying it from other people, which is just ridiculous. And we have so much oil between us and Catalina that, you know, Huntington Beach could be fine on those reserves. So I am for any oil, pulling oil from the earth when we can. Thank you. Like Lynn said, I'm here to represent you. I have no problems with the police department. I do have a problem with the unfunded liability. They have a plan to pay part of it down, but that liability grows exponentially every year. So they're just trying to get somewhat of a handle on it. I think we need really true pension reform more than what the governor passed. And I believe our negotiations should be transparent because it's our tax money. This isn't a private corporation that decided to unionize. This is public funded, public money. And I think we should have as much transparency as we can in these negotiations. And I'll be there to represent you.
Therefore, do you own or work for a business based in Huntington Beach or that does business in Huntington Beach? Some of you addressed this, but if you could answer that question again.
I own a business in Huntington Beach. Since I've been involved in Huntington Beach, I try not to do any business in Huntington Beach, just because the rules on planning commissions are very strict, more so than the city council. So I'm an electrical contractor. There's plenty of work outside of the city. When I'm out of office, maybe I'll start working on Huntington Beach again.
Yes, I'm in favor of the current fee. You gotta get people's attention. You know, if you stick it down to $5, they don't care about parking there during sweeping the streets.
Right. Well, the reason why we sweep the streets is if we have too much stuff, we actually get fined from the county. So, you know, we need to remind people to stay off those streets. I would be in favor of at least one waiver. I've paid hundreds of dollars. I have a trailer, and even though you get a trailer permit to park there, you still get a ticket if it's parked there. So I don't get that one. So I'm following the thing around. So at least one waiver would be good. Every now and then, I mean, it's my fault, but one waiver would be nice. But we do need to make sure we have those because we do get fined from the county if we have too much debris going in the sewer.
Eric, why does the street sweeper have to have 2 pickup trucks following it with 2 people in each pickup truck?
I think one stops in tickets and the other one moves ahead in tickets.
But there's 2 people in each truck.
That's a personnel problem.
People follow
I understand, yeah, and maybe that's something that can be looked at. Maybe they're dropping them off.
Okay, this next is a revenue question. So think about the way this is.
Excuse me, senior center, so, yes.
I voted for it when it came through planning commission, so I've always been for it. I find it ridiculous that the people who opposed it this whole time are trying to get the groundbreaking done before their election so they can have their name on a plaque. Which is just ridiculous. But yeah, we need it. Corona Del Mar has a gorgeous one. Ours will be better. Lynn was correct. They did, the city council did allow a little more grace period for people to raise money and try to buy that back from Rainbow, and they didn't. And I'm happy with the project that came through with Planning Commission, that it is a little more industrial, strip mall, and not a bunch of apartments there, or not a bunch of condos. So they're trying to keep that area. It is industrial. So they're building warehouse type stuff, and I think they should be able to go forward with that. Well, I think we have had development here down Beach and Ettinger. I think we need to step back and measure that. Actually find out what's going to happen to our city. How's it impacting us? Are we getting the bang for our buck, or is it costing us? Before we start moving forward with the other 4,000 living units down Beach. You know, let's step back and say, hey, are we getting what we paid for? That's exactly how to do it, be able to measure it. Well, when I was on the finance board, we got the CalPERS book, and it had all their plans, and 3 at 50 was the top plan. There was other plans in there. So I think we need to, you know, the governor's doing his thing. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But as we go forward, CalPERS offers other plans. If we're sticking with CalPERS, let's get a different plan for the new hires. I mean, the 3 at 50 is completely unsustainable. There's nothing, there's no math. Even the new Common Core math is a good fix. You know, there's a lot of cities, Aliso Viejo, Yorba Linda, Villa Park, all of them are pushing back on this. I see no reason why we can't. The state mandates we can push back on before it destroys our city. I think we have enough development, but when you put 6 stories in a strip mall in front of Beach and Ellis, where there's Section 8 housing that had 200 and some police calls for drugs, and now you just built them underground parking? You know, we have to look at it as a safety. Our firefighters have to fight in these high-rises, these wood structures. Look at Bellatera. It's more dangerous for them, too. It's more dangerous. It leads to a bigger impact in our community. It requires more city services. I think we need to really focus or take a look at it and make sure that we're doing the best for our community, not for what the county and state want us to do. Like I said, other cities have been successful in stopping this. Our RENA numbers they're talking about, we have a surplus. We have more than RENA's requiring. Just went through our housing element. I voted against that housing element because I don't necessarily think we're bringing the bridge up, but I wouldn't mind if my house goes up in value and not down in value. I mean, I don't mind if my kids have to live in Westminster until they can afford to live here. I don't think we need to be everything for everyone. I mean, we have a good balance here. When I left home, I lived downtown. It was, you know, that's where everyone lives. You live downtown. And there's plenty of apartments in the city. And we have condos, we have mobile homes, we have single-family homes, we have nicer tracts over in Southeast and up here, we have McMansions on the beach. We have a great surplus, and I think we're tipping the balance to rental property. And I don't think that helps any of us homeowners. You know, I think it actually might have a bad effect on it.